Alright guys, a couple of y'all have asked me before in the past to do a video like this, and it's not really my type thing, but I figured I'd do it. Maybe I can help somebody. But we're going to go through on this video what I take on a hog hunt. Big bag as far as if I'm going on a full day's hunt or maybe even an overnighter, what all is going to be in there, and then just a small bag for 2-3 hour hunt, morning or evening, and just a small loop. Pretty much all my hog hunting is done on public land, spot and stalk. So that's how I hunt. But the gear is pretty much the same, just minimum amount based on how long the hunt is. And then we'll go over the bows I shoot. You could really give me one of these bows and I'd be happy with it, but I rotate through them for no uncertain reason. But we'll go through it and show y'all those. So let's look at the bows first. So if I could only have one of these bows, it'd be this one right here. This is my Primal Tech longbow. It is 58 inches, 46 pounds at my draw length. It's a two-piece, so if I was to unstring this, I could pull it apart at the socket. Two-piece, and this is my favorite bow I've ever owned. Killed quite a few critters with it, and I put a Selway quiver on it. There's plenty of good quivers out there. Selway, Great Northern, Gun-Shy, it's whatever you like. Drew's always taken really good care of me, and I like the way the Selways look, so that's what I shoot. And this is just a great shooting bow. One thing I love about this bow is I have it tuned really well to where I can go back and forth between carbon arrows and then wood arrows. I swapped the strings to get my diameter right, but my gaps are all still the same. My arrows are built out to almost within 10 grains of each other, so everything flies right. But these are just carbons, shooting a 5-inch feather. As you can tell, yellow is my color. The yellow wrap, 200 up front, about a 530 grain arrow. And then as always, a woodsman or a VPA on the end. Normally I have 2 3-blade heads in my quiver, but I'm also known to shoot some Zwickeys. Love a Zwickey, but I prefer a 3-blade, but I've killed many things with that 2-blade. So that's the first bow. If I had to give up all my bows and keep one, this would be it, my Primal Tech. Like I said, I had it tuned up to where I can shoot wood arrows. During deer season, I'll shoot wood quite often. I enjoy making them. I do all my painting and cresting. I need to make another batch. I'm slowly switching to Sherwood shafts, so I'm going to have to retune a little bit to get the weight I want. I used to shoot cedars, and I've just heard great things about the Sherwoods and built a test kit, and they did great. So this set's getting retired, and here in the next few weeks or so, I'm going to build a new set of woods for deer season. But shoot both of those out of that bow. Next up is pretty much the same thing. It's a Primal Tech longbow. This one is 60 inches, 50 pounds at my draw weight. I wanted something with a little bit more weight, kind of a backup bow. So I got with Randy, told him, build whatever you want. He did it really pretty. You can send him a message. He can tell you the woods. I don't even remember. It's also a two-piece. And this one I don't have set up for woods. It's just pure carbons, shooting 3-blade woodsman or VPA, whatever you want, whatever I can grab. I order from VPA, order from Woodsman, Three Rivers. But there's a Zwickey in there. And these arrows, these are a heavy arrow. These are 340s with 300 up front, like a 640 grain arrow. It's what I shot my last pig with last week. And love that bow. It shoots really good. Highly recommend hitting up Randy. He doesn't sponsor me or anything, but he is local. He's one of my good friends. And it's my favorite shooting bow. This is probably, I don't know if it's my favorite bow, but I just love it. This is a Schaefer Silvertip. Many may not know who Paul Schaefer is. If you're in the traditional community, you definitely know who he is. In my opinion, one of the greatest examples of a bow hunter and very successful. He used to make Schaefer Silvertip bows. This riser is actually made by Paul himself before he passed away. But the limbs are made by Windauer, who owns the company now. Paul, in his time, they were shooting very heavy bows, 70, 80, 90 pounds, and that's just too much for me. So I have Windauer limbs on it. They're 46 at my draw weight, but I love this bow because this riser was made by Paul himself. Next animal I get should be with this bow because it's up in the lineup. And those arrows are pretty much the same arrow setup as my Primal Tech. They're about a 600 grain carbon arrow, Zwickeys and Woodsman or VPAs in them. So there's the bows. Let's move on to what's in the bags. All right, so if you tell me I have an evening to go pig hunting, run up to some public, make a 2-3 mile loop, or just a morning, all I'm gonna bring is my bino harness and this. I'll show you this in a second. I keep this in my truck at all times. I'll throw it on real quick so I can work out of it. This is the Alaska Guide creation. So here's how I work it for a short pig hunt. This pocket right here, I have a simple flashlight, cheap, works good. Flashlight in there. Over here, I have a wind checker bottle, so just a little powder. Y'all seen these before? A little lighter, and then you'll see me use these cotton balls. Cotton balls work the same almost as milkweed. You just throw them and they blow wherever the wind or thermal is taking it. That's the wonderful thing about using something like that. It shows you the thermal. So even if you have this dead calm wind, it will still float and show you what the thermal currents are doing. In the front right here, I have a headlight. I have a couple extra AA batteries. Both of those lights run on AA's, so I have 2 lights. If something were to happen with those, I could also use my phone. Down here at the bottom, I have a thing of paracord. I think I have an extra lighter in there, but a thing of paracord. I like this one because this is reflective paracord, so at night if you hang a strand of it up and hit it with your light, it will glow for quite a while. And then get that closed up. And then in the back here, I have a real thin, you can see it's very thin, Travis Styles at Broken Compass Knives made this for me. It is a super thin skinner. It's real lightweight. I have cleaned a good bit of animals with this. I just got the Kydex, a little paracord on there, and it slides back here perfectly. That's all I need. Normally I'd have my Leatherman in my pocket. And then of course in the main compartment, I have binos. You say, Jesse, if you're going to kill a pig on public land, you're way back there, how are you going to get it out? Believe it or not, I'm going to set these down. I have packed out up to about a 150-pound hog in a single pillowcase. It stays folded down in there. My binoculars still fit in there. And you can put 2/4 deboned shoulders, backstrap, and tenderloins of a good-sized pig in a sleeping bag. Throw it over your shoulder. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it's worth it for the 10%, 5% of the time you kill something to not be carrying a backpack. Yeah, it's not going to be fun carrying out like this, but I've done it numerous times and it's fine. And I will keep this in there, or if I don't want it in there, because another way, what I'll do is sometimes I'll leave my binoculars and I will stuff 2 water bottles in here, and they actually fit. 2 16-ounce water bottles will fit, and I'll leave binoculars, and I'll just put this in my back pocket. But most of the time, this is tucked right down in here. My bino's right here, everything clasped shut, and then a 16-ounce Nalgene. The reason I use a Nalgene is because it's quiet. You can slip this in your back pocket and it won't make noise all day, and you have enough water. If you're going on a 2-3 mile hunt, you should drink your water before and get hydrated, so you don't have to have water, but it is nice as a thirst quencher. I'll carry this with me, and I'll put it in my back pocket. I've clipped it on here before, but it's better in the back pocket, and it won't make noise. You can squeeze it, it won't pop. And just another thing for y'all, these guys go a long way. If you're hunting out in the heat, liquid IV dumped in water is huge. So before I leave the truck, I'll fill this up with 16 ounces. I'll dump that liquid IV in there. It will ride in my back pocket. Halfway through the hunt, I'll chug this thing, rehydrate myself, and I'll be good to go. So that is it for just a short, quick hunt. That's what I carry. We'll move on to the big bag. All right, on to the big bag. So this is a Mystery Ranch Pop-Up 28. This bag has been through it for me. It is my just do-all bag. I've done overnighter trips out of it. I've done 2-day camping trips. The pack extends out. You can slide a tent and a sleeping bag lashed to the bottom, and that backpack is by far the best investment. I'm not a huge gear guy, but I'd buy that over and over again. I've packed numerous deer out in it. I've packed pigs out in it, and believe it or not, I packed my elk out in that. I carried a quarter out on that with no problem. It's really not much different, just a couple more things. Um, Headlight, smoke in a bottle, just a little indicator, lighter, cotton ball. I started using these this year and I did a video on them. These are just the little cooling towels that you dip down into the water and they run about 20 degrees cooler than the outside temp. I'll never hunt in the heat again without these. I mean, they are just awesome. I love them. Highly recommend getting some of those. In the main compartment, I have an extra pillowcase. I have a kill bag. This just has another skinner in it, just like that one. A pad and pin, a zip tie. Small handsaw. These are super light. I don't ever really use it for pig hunting, but I use it a lot during deer season, so it just stays in my bag. Really, anything I use for deer hunting is in this bag. Maybe one or two more things I'll add. Before deer season starts, I'll do a gear dump, I guess, for my hunting stuff. But I do carry Walmart bags and one of these emergency blankets. Use the emergency blanket more for a tarp than anything else if I have to, but a contractor bag is very useful. I've used it as a personal poncho before, but what I mainly use it for is if I'm camping and I don't have a big tent, I'm just using my hammock or a small tent, and I don't have room in the vestibule to stow my bag, I'll put my bag down in this, my backpack down in this contractor bag, cinch it up, and it will be waterproof for the night. So those are definitely worth their weight in gold. Thermocell, just you have to have them in the south down here. The mosquitoes are brutal. I try not to use it because it does put off a little bit of odor, but most of the time I'm hunting the wind, so I don't care. But they can be a lifesaver. Clip it on your bag, run them, hang them in your tree stand. The main compartment, little thing of bug spray. I'm telling you, I'd rather smell like bug spray if I have to. I don't use this every time, but if I have to, if they're just unbearable, I'd rather smell like bug spray, hunt with the wind in my face, but be able to stay out there rather than mosquitoes walking you all the way back to the truck. First aid kit, very important, guys. I used to not carry these, but it's just stupid not to. They're lightweight, and the biggest thing you can have in there, the most important thing you can have in there, is a thing of, if I can get it open, a thing of quick clot. You just never know. You tear your leg open, your arm open, you hit an artery. That can save your life. Don't be dumb. Try to carry one of those. A good flashlight. Another thing about all my flashlights, they all run on AA, so I don't have to worry about rechargeable batteries. I just keep some extra batteries in here and use those. Always just have a thing of paracord. This guy right here, I've had very expensive knives before. Benchmade, Essie, high-end bucks. I've had good knives. And believe it or not, for $20, these Swedish-made Mora knives are unbeatable. I've tried to break this thing. I've batoned wood, I've cleaned animals, I've thrown it into trees, I've left it out overnight, and they can just take it. I mean, they get so sharp, they throw a spark off a ferro rod, they're cheap. I have like 4 of them. I never not have one anymore. This is my favorite do-all knife. I've broke down full animals with that. I cleaned that last pig with that whole thing. Highly recommend them. 20 bucks, Amazon. They're good quality. And then just a thing of toilet paper, some extra batteries, maybe some, what else is in there? A little bow hooks in here. So, man, that's it. That's all I carry for public land, spot and stock pig hunting. This thing's full. If I'm doing an all-day hunt, overnight hunt, just the bino harness if I'm going for a couple hours. That's really all you need, guys. So get out there. It's hot, I know. Drink a lot of water. Hydrate yourself. But it's good to get out there and enjoy it. So hope that helps somebody.